Hello, people. You guys are watching this video because I am still out. Or I decided to show it to you anyway, even though I came into school. We'll see. Today you guys are going to be learning about the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. We're going to be doing a quick overview of the two and talking a little bit about different types of actions, voluntary versus involuntary. For your bell work today, I would like for you to look at the Unit 10 scale that you can find on the back of your cover sheet and take a quick look at the level 2 and 3 objectives. Find one that you already know something about and explain what you know. Our vocabulary terms for today include the central nervous system, which is made up of the spinal cord and the brain, and the peripheral nervous system, which contains effectors, receptors, and also we need to know what the term stimuli means. Nervous control. Unit 10 is focused on the characteristic of life of sensitivity. If you remember from way back in Unit 1, sensitivity refers to an organism's ability to sense and respond to stimuli. Okay, so there are two main things that go into sensitivity. Being able to find out what's going on in your environment, in other words, the stimuli. Okay, that's our changes in the environment, such as light, temperature, movement, sound, anything that you can perceive with your five senses will be a stimuli. Okay, we have to be able to detect those. And nervous control also refers to our ability to respond to them. That also includes a middle step found in your central nervous system, which we'll get to in a few minutes. So we have to be able to take in information, process it, that's the middle step, and then come up with a response. We will focus first on our ability to detect stimuli. In order to detect stimuli, we have lots of specialized cells that contain receptors. Receptors are things that are able to detect stimuli. Okay, there are lots of examples in your body. Your olfactory cells in your nose detect chemicals in the air. That's how we are able to smell. Other examples, okay, again, think of your 5 senses. Taste buds detect chemicals that touch your tongue. You have different kinds of cells on your retina in your eyes called rods and cones that are able to detect changes in light. Rods are focused specifically on levels of light, and cones focus on various colors. Your skin also has lots of different receptors, mostly for touch, temperature, and pain. And then inside your ear, you have a structure called the cochlea. The cochlea contains fluid and hairs, and whenever sound enters your ear, it's funneled. The vibrations are funneled into your inner ear where the cochlea is, and those vibrations vibrate the fluid, which triggers a movement of the hairs, and that results in your hearing sound. On the flip side, we have organs and tissues like muscles and glands that allow us to respond to stimuli. Okay, rather than being receptors, these things are called effectors because they affect the world around us. The actions that they take are called responses. For example, if you look at a bright light, the stimuli is the light. The receptors are the rods and cones on your retina, it's part of your eye. Your response will be for the muscles or the effectors in your iris to change the dilation of your pupil. It will constrict your pupil and make it smaller. That is your response. Again, those muscles in the iris are the effectors. Now that we have some basics down about sensitivity and our ability to detect and respond to stimuli, we can start thinking a little bit about what we physically have in our bodies that allow us to do that. All animals have a nervous system. Nervous systems can be incredibly simple all the way up to incredibly complex. Jellyfish, for example, have the simplest version of a nervous system, which is really just a loose collection of specialized nerve cells that form just an interconnected web throughout their bodies. They have no central nervous system. Again, it's just a loose collection of nerve cells. Humans, on the other hand, have an incredibly complex system. Our system involves two different sections, which one of them will be further divided in just a second. So our sensory system are things that we just listed earlier under our receptors. So those would be your eyes, nose, ears, mouth, skin. Then we also have our nervous system. Our nervous system is what allows us to actually respond to the stimuli. So it contains all of the nerves. Again, our nervous system is divided into two parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. To help you remember, think about if anybody is going to take their driver's test anytime soon to get your permit, they will test your peripheral vision. Peripheral simply means on the outside. So central nervous system are all of the parts down the middle of your body, and the peripheral nervous system are all the parts around the outside. Okay, so the central nervous system. The central nervous system is made up specifically of the brain and the spinal cord. They're found in the center of the body. The brain is the control center. That's where all of our thinking and processing happen. Our brain is located inside of a crania. A crania is actually plural for cranium, also known as the head. Your spinal cord is an extra thick bundle of nerves that runs down the center of your spine. The spinal cord basically serves as a relay center, sending information from the body up to the brain. The peripheral nervous system is all of your other nerves. Anything that's not directly part of the brain or spinal cord is part of the peripheral nervous system. It includes all of our nerves that are connected to various parts of our body, like our sensory organs and our muscles. The nerves, basically a term for a bundle of nerve cells. Nerve cells are also called neurons. Neurons are able to carry information. They carry information in the form of electrical impulses, and those electrical impulses are passed from one neuron to the next. The way that information is passed from neuron to neuron can be affected by the type of actions they are working on starting. We have two different kinds of actions, two different categories. Involuntary actions are actions that are involuntary. Involuntary means they happen without you thinking about them. You do them even though you don't have to consciously tell yourself to do them. Examples include things like blinking, swallowing, breathing, making your heart beat, and controlling digestion. All of those things happen whether you want them to or not, even if you hold your breath until you pass out. Once you pass out, you will start breathing again. On the other hand, voluntary actions are actions that you choose to do. Examples include things like picking up a pencil, walking, finishing your homework. Those are all things that you have to choose to do. Unfortunately, they will not happen without thinking about them. Reflexes are a specific type of involuntary action. Reflexes are generally a response to danger. Breathing and having your heart beat are not reflexes, although they are involuntary actions. Blinking, in general, is a regular involuntary action. However, if you blink because someone throws something at your face, that is a reflex because it's a response to danger. Another example, imagine, scenario, you come home from school. Someone in your house has been baking cookies. You got home, you see the tray on the counter. You're hungry, you go to the tray, you reach for a cookie. Nobody was there to tell you that those cookies just came out of the oven. That means that you have just touched a 350-degree chocolate chip cookie. It's really hot. When you do that, automatically you will let go of it and probably step away. Maybe you shake your hand. Okay, but letting go of that hot cookie is a reflex. Okay, by releasing it as soon as you touch it, you are responding to the danger by getting away from it. Okay, so the example of pulling your hand back from something hot is a very good example of a reflex. Okay, jumping away when poked, blinking when something heads towards your eye, also are examples of reflexes. Okay, there's a very specific sequence of events that happens in the case of a reflex. Okay, that sequence of events goes stimulus, a change in your environment. Okay, that change could come from a burning hot cookie. Next, you have a receptor. The receptor is the part of your body that is receiving information about the stimulus. In the example of our burning hot cookie, the receptor would be the temperature sensing nerves in your hand. Okay, that information gets passed along to a coordinator. The coordinator is the part of your body that is going to set up your response. In our example, the coordinator would be the spinal cord. Okay, information from the receptor passes along to the spinal cord. The spinal cord is going to coordinate our response. After the coordinator, the next event comes from the effector. Effectors, remember, are things that help us to respond to danger. In this example, our effectors are going to be the muscles in our hand and arm. And lastly, we have our response. The response in this example is pulling our hand away or dropping the cookie. Again, the coordinator is the part of our central nervous system that connects information about the stimulus and returns something to the effector. For most reflexes, that is the spinal cord. That's why you may have already dropped the burning hot cookie before you even realized that it was hot. Because your spinal cord has already returned your response before the information reaches your brain. After notes. Don't forget, guys, you need to take the Coordination Introduction Exit Quiz on Canvas. Once you finish the exit quiz, then go back to your notes. Make sure that you have written your 3 questions in the margin, that you have answered the summary activity questions, and that you go back to your objective and reflection page and write a reflection for today's lesson. If you have extra time after you've done these things, you can also work on your vocabulary log. Again, you can go back and see what our terms for today were. Or you could be working on your cover page. Cover page for this unit is going to be anything that you want to draw having to do with coordination or response.